good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Pacific time. Good evening, Seattle. Good evening, Portland. Good evening, Sacramento. And of course, the City of Angels. How you doing? On this 6th day of January, we've got a ketamine junkie. Ketamine junkie in the witness chair today, up in Michigan. I know nothing about this case. I saw it before a couple of years ago. It's just the cross-examination because it's brutal. It's so fucking... And it's not a fiery cross-examination. It's a slow burner. It's a slow, steady march of a bull. A bull being pushed by a gentle tidal wave into the witness box. This little fucking kid over here thinks he's gonna get round this expert defense attorney with a little bit of attitude. It's quite funny. So I know nothing about the case. I don't even know who the defendant is. Maybe we'll find out as we go and then have a look at the end. How about that? But we're really just here today for a short Metrix commentary video of a very brief, isolated cross-examination, just because it's so good. I mean, like Detective Sergeant Jim Smith's interrogation of Russell Williams is used the world over to train the art of interrogation, the art of rapport building and so on like that. This could be used to train defense attorneys. It should be. It really should be. So welcome everybody in the chat. Let's get that chat. Where is that chat? Hello, chat. We love the chat. So many of you. So many of you. Look at it. Busy. I don't know how else to describe it other than just packed, rammed. It's like New Year's Eve. Welcome, mine or yours. Definitely mine. That's where the show happens. But you're welcome anytime. There we go. There you are. There you are. Acapella. Boom. What's he got for us today? Some of that famous Texan wit. He's going to show up with a map. A Google Earth map of the courthouse where this was held. That's his job. Okay. We're cracking it. There's not much of an introduction a cappella. I don't know if you caught it a moment ago. This is a very short cross-examination that is not a fiery cross-examination. It is a slow burner, tidal wave. It's a bull, a marching bull being moved by a wave coming to get you. And that's all it is. We know virtually no context. The defendant is on trial because he was dealing drugs, I think, and he would have these parties where younger people would attend, and this is one of the younger people who was given ketamine on at least 3 occasions in exchange for money. So basically he was buying drugs. And now he's like, yeah, no, that guy was really bad. That guy giving drugs to young people. Yeah, but only if they showed up with money, you know? So, yeah, no, he would have these parties and young people would be there and they would be given drugs in exchange for cash. It's all a matter of wording, you know? It's like if someone shows up to your house because they know you sell ketamine and they say, excuse me, I'd like to buy some ketamine, please. And you say, okay, how much? Where's the money? That's just buying drugs, which may be illegal, but it's certainly not how it's being painted as this, yes, he would have these parties with underage attendees would be there and he would feed them drugs. So the defense attorney that's going to be cross-examining this witness here, Mr. Namby-Pamby, is representing that client, right? That defendant. What are the charges exactly? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out as we go, or at the end, or halfway through. The choice is yours. Okay. Boom. Boom.
Are you still living at home with your parents or your mom?
Yes, I am.
Was I on mute? I was definitely on mute, wasn't I? Oh, God. Okay. What I said was, let's go back to the beginning. I'll try and remember.
Are you still living at home with your parents or your mom?
Yes, I am.
Notice the complete absence of gasps following that statement. Yes, I am still living at home with my mom. Okay. Yeah, so we don't know what's going on here. The gentleman, or the Mr. Namby-Pamby on the witness stand is the one that's saying, hello, yes, Joe would have parties and he would give drugs to kids when they would show up at his house in exchange for money. We don't know what's going to happen. We are the ones that are going to have to find the puzzle pieces and put this whole ugly mess together. But he does live at home with his mom.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Spencer, I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
That's him there. That must be the defendant. Joe. Crazy Joe.
Questions I ask you should generally call for yes or no answers. If you can't answer it that way, you let me know, all right?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer, you have been around people who have used narcotics, haven't you?
Yes.
And you've seen people who, in your experience, appear to be high, haven't you?
Yes.
Who appear to be under the influence of some kind of a drug or affected by some kind of a narcotic, haven't you?
Yes.
Can you look the jury in the eye and tell me whether or not you've taken any narcotics today? Prescription pills, anything of that sort? Xanax, opiates?
I just love the character that he's adopted here. This kind of like, listen, buddy, you're a kid. I've seen it all before. I'm now going to work with the jury. You see how he opens himself up to the jury there? He points at them, takes a huge step back from the podium, just creates this space for 12 people to enter his heart, right? Look at this. Can you look the jury in the eye and tell them if you've taken any narcotics today?
Appear to be high, haven't you?
Yes.
Who appear to be under the influence of some kind of a drug or affected by some kind of a narcotic, haven't you?
Yes.
Can you look the jury in the eye and tell me whether or not you've taken any narcotics today?
And that pacing as well, the slowness of his speech with the kind of almost one fluid motion. That's what makes me think of he's like a tidal wave. And I don't mean when it's crashing down. I mean when the fucking earthquake happens at the bottom of the ocean and that slow moving wave just starts coming into the shore, right? And then crash. Right at the end, crash.
Prescription pills, anything of that sort? Xanax, opiates?
Yes, I have taken prescription pills today.
Nice job listing all the drugs as well. Xanax, opiates, pills, narcotics. Jury's thinking, fucking hell, what's all this?
taken
When did you last take a prescription pill today?
this morning.
What time?
I'd say around 9 o'clock.
And what medication did you take this morning around 9 o'clock before you came to court?
I took Vyvanse.
Vyvanse. Vyvanse is an amphetamine?
Yes, I'm prescribed.
Vyvanse is for ADHD?
Yes.
The behavior, the way that you're communicating, and I'm going to speak to you, try
ADHD. He's had too many sweets.
to speak softly and have a dialogue with you, okay?
Okay.
The way that you're communicating now, isn't this the way that you've seen people communicate in your own personal life who appear to be high or under the influence?
Judge, I'm gonna object to that.
What's the,
Judge, he can ask him if he's high or under the influence, but
I'm not to ask
he's
him.
asking him to evaluate his.
I don't understand the question.
Okay.
I don't understand how I could look at myself from a third-person view.
So well, first of all, so the process.
I'm sorry, attorney. I don't understand how I am supposed to look at myself from a third-person view. Doesn't that reek of someone who wants to sound a lot cleverer than they are? You may have heard me do that from time to time. Maybe I'm doing that right now.
Prosecutor objected, Your Honor.
Say the question again, I didn't understand.
Yeah, sure. The way that you're communicating now, I mean, can you hear, I'll withdraw and I'll ask it differently. Can you?
This guy, this attorney, is actually so authoritative in his tidal wave manner that he actually ends up telling the judge how to do her job too, but in a way that she thanks him for, right? Because he's that good.
Right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
This is the way that you normally communicate?
I don't normally communicate from a stand in circuit court in a case involving an older man that threw parties with underage people providing drugs. I'm nervous. If you're accusing me of being drugs, then you're doing a
Providing drugs that you went there to buy and exchanged money for.
very bad job as an attorney.
Okay.
You should be asking.
No,
I'm the victim here. I've never communicated on the stand, and he gave me drugs.
he's not,
That are actually going to help your client.
Okay, next question.
I appreciate that.
And now
You're supposed to help your client. Oh, son. He is helping his client so much. Ketamine is a horse tranquilizer observation station. It's given to horses to help them pass out. But people take it, human beings take it. And it has some psychoactive properties. People often describe falling into a K-hole, which is a ketamine hole, which is the term used to describe the almost inability to move while you take the drug. And while you're busy, not moving, people describe that their mind can go to places of great introspection and euphoria. Interesting.
I'm angry and I'm going to tremble my voice even more, not because I'm on drugs, but because I'm nervous. And you're intimidating. That's what you do.
Okay, wait.
It's not going to work.
Okay, just answer the questions and then.
That's my answer.
It's already worked, son. Can't you see that? He's intimidated you, made you look like an idiot. It's not going to work. Apart from, actually, this is it, isn't it? This is it working now.
Okay, we'll get, just answer his questions and we'll get you out of here, okay? All right, go ahead,
Okay.
Mr. Rockind.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Boom! Look. Larry.
Today,
Larry. Larisha. Larry's ear. Harris. I'm just going to call you Harris. Harris says, attorney and witness, both A-type personalities. You mean type A? A-type personalities. This will derail fast, like a freight train. A slow one. A slow train being pushed by a tidal wave.
you testified a few moments ago to the jury in response to Ms. Hand's questions, that Joe has provided you with
Larisha, okay, I got you.
ketamine on prior occasions at his house.
Correct.
And you said it was almost, I think I wrote down, said
What trial is this? I don't even know. I'm really, I'm so bad at reporting on this, aren't I? It's just this thing that's been up for a few years, a couple of years. I saw it a while ago, and it's just up as the cross-examination because it is that good. It involves a case, a guy, Joe, who was having parties and dealing drugs. I think it's just a drug dealing thing. We'll find out as we go, I'm sure.
that almost every time you were there. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And
Oh, what did I say? Larisha.
at the preliminary examination, that was when you testified before in district court. You remember that?
Yes.
And you took an oath at that time, is that right?
Yes.
And at the time, that was closer in time to the events of February 15th, true?
Yes.
Okay. And you told that time you were asked this question, and this was your answer on page 62. Approximately how many times had you ingested ketamine that the defendant gave you at his house? Your answer, it was one time. It was that night. Wasn't that your answer under oath at the preliminary examination?
Yes, it was.
Today you've told the jury something different, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
So, 2 times under oath, you've given 2 different answers. True?
True.
Both of those pieces of testimony can't be true, right?
If I know you said to only keep this yes and no, but I'd like to explain that this isn't about the amount of times that I did ketamine at Joe's house. This is about it goes beyond that. Like I've stated multiple times, I was very inebriated every time that I was at his house. I may have even been given ketamine without knowing it.
You've never told the police before in response to any question. Let me finish my question.
Look.
You'll get every opportunity, Mr. Spencer. I'm keeping my voice very calm. I'm going to give you every opportunity to talk as much as you'd like. But you've never before today in front of this jury made an allegation that somebody gave you ketamine without your knowledge. Isn't that true?
Can you please rephrase the question?
Yes. Until just now, you've never told the police or accused in a formal setting in this case, Joe, of having given you ketamine without your knowledge, right?
Correct.
That's something new that you just told the jury now.
Well, maybe it was something that I didn't consider when I first stated that I only did it one time.
I'm sorry. I'm moving on to another subject. You're here testifying in court. You understand that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
You've just made another allegation against Mr. Shield that he drugged you with ketamine without your knowledge. Isn't that true? That's what you just told the jury.
Yes, it is.
Never told that to any police officer formally, nor did you testify to that previously in this case.
I may have mentioned it before. I'm not sure. There were so many times that I talked to detectives.
You just told the jury a second ago that it didn't dawn on you to think about that. Now you're saying that you actually may have said something about that. Those are 2 different things, aren't they?
No. I have Asperger's too, and it's a fine line. It's a fine line between Asperger's tics and just being a dick. I think this guy is just being a dick. It's just more entitled than emotionally detached.
Do you want me to go back and explain myself?
No, I'm asking you a specific question, Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Okay. So your testimony today includes a new allegation against Mr. Shield that you were somehow drugged without your knowledge.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's a possibility. I'm not saying that that specifically happened. I'm saying it's a possibility, as in there's no way anybody's ever going to be able to know that. I don't even know that myself. I'm just saying possibly, and maybe I considered that when I just said that I took ketamine multiple times at his house. Maybe I considered that it's a possibility, but there's no way I'm ever going to know if it actually happened.
Wait a minute.
That's what I'm implying.
Under oath,
I'm not alleging him of anything.
under oath, prosecutor asked you
I'm not alleging him of anything.
on direct examination whether Mr. Shield, whether had provided you with ketamine prior to, at the times you went to his house. She asked you that. It was a very simple question. Do you remember it? Do you remember the question and answer a few moments ago?
Yes.
And you said yes. And you said, almost every time I was there.
Yes.
And you're saying that when you told the jury that under oath, that you were thinking to yourself that maybe it was given to me without my knowledge? Is that your explanation for that testimony under oath?
Yes, it is.
Does that make any sense to you? That you would
Yes,
answer
it
a
does
question
make
directly
sense.
that he gave you drugs in the past, gave you ketamine in the past, but now when I'm questioning you, it's, well, maybe I was thinking of, maybe I was drugged and didn't know it. That's why I answered it that way. Is that really the explanation you want the jury to accept?
I don't know how else you would want me to explain this. I would appreciate if you could move on to the next question.
I'm sorry?
Oh
You
my God.
want me to move on to the next question?
Yes.
The questions I'm asking,
You know, and a great attorney, just things happen in the moment. The kid just said, I'd appreciate it if you would just move on to the next question. And rather than, you know, move on, or yeah, he makes this point. I'm sorry? drawing, you know, re-attention to the fact that that question was a shit question, or that request. I'd appreciate it if you could just move on to the next question.
are, Mr. Spencer, pointing out from contradictions in your testimony. Do you understand that? So I appreciate you would like me to move on, but I'm sure you can appreciate that the judge will ultimately tell me when I have to move on. You understand that too, right?
Correct.
Okay. You want me to move on because it makes you uncomfortable to have to getting caught in what is untruthful testimony.
Well, there's a lot of these really small discrepancies, like how many times did you do this? How many times did blah, 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 that like, I didn't just like, this isn't...
How many times did you blah, 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 blah? I would love it if the defense attorney would just go, how many times did I blah, 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 blah?
like a test that I studied for. This isn't college. This isn't something that I think is like a huge deal. So when you guys throw all these questions at me and then throw it on the record, it's not something that's like constantly running through my mind every day, and I'm remembering all these little tiny little details.
The judge can't believe it either. Look at her. And the court reporter over there. She's craning her neck to see. The state attorneys over here in the chairs are just like, oh, fuck. This was our star witness. What is he doing?
And splitting hairs about it.
That's what I'm doing?
We didn't give this guy a deal, did we? No deal. The deal is off the table.
You think I'm splitting hairs? I'm questioning you about the truthfulness of your testimony and contradictions, and you're telling the jury that that's splitting hairs. Is that what you how you're characterizing?
I'm giving my time trying to answer all of these questions to the best of my ability.
We'll get to the reasons why you're here later, okay? Do you understand? But I'm still going to put these questions to you. Is that okay with you, Mr. Spencer?
Yeah, ask another question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You said today that you told the prosecutor today in response to her questions that every
I think the jury are fucking loving this, Bubbles. The jury are like, yes, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. Yeah. You see, sometimes it's the luck of the draw, isn't it? You get jury duty, and it could be the most boring fucking paint drying, washing line shit that you've ever seen in your life. Or it could be the most gripping experience that you have ever seen in your life, right?
every time you went to
I think probability, they're generally shit though. Most trials are generally just absolutely shit. What do you need to have in place for a great trial? Okay, let's think about it. Well, the case is important. Doesn't have to be a murder, but it needs to be something, better than, I don't know, a petty theft. That would be pretty boring. Even a drug dealer would be pretty boring. What else? A car chase, maybe that could be good. But you also it needs to be in the right state. I think that makes a big difference. I find it very difficult to watch any trial in Massachusetts. Just can't do it. Can't get through a single one. I do want to have a look at that Craigslist killer though. The what's his name? Phil Markoff. Come on, Phil. By those Boston cops. That was good. The interrogation, at least. God, he had a rough ending, didn't he? What the fuck? He was a medical student, slashed his wrists open in his cell, and wrote in his blood, "pocket," on the wall of his cell in blood, in his own blood from his wrists. Pocket was the name that he and his fiancée would call each other. It was a bi-directional pet name, Pocket. Okay, whatever. And then making sure he got an A+ in killing himself as a medical student, tied a towel or something, a bed sheet, around his ankles, and then lay on the floor on his belly and tied the other end of the sheet that was around his ankles around his neck, and then slashed his wrists to let all the blood drain out. So even if he didn't die from the blood loss, he would certainly be unconscious, at which point the weight of his legs would pull on the sheet that was connected to his neck and strangle him. So it was like an insurance. If I don't die from blood loss, I'll strangle myself to death in a pool of my own blood after writing "pocket" on the wall. What do you think that girl thought about that when she got the news? Jesus Christ. The things people can go through, huh? I mean, too much. Anyway, where were we? Michigan.
to Joe's, you got drugs. Is that what that is what you testified to today, right?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't your story evolving from what it was when you testified at the preliminary examination? Isn't it growing, evolving? Aren't you exaggerating?
I think you may be, you're mistaking exaggeration for lack of memory and, quite frankly, like I don't want to remember the things that happened at Joe's house. I've been trying to forget them for a year. You're mistaking exaggeration from my lack of knowledge and care about that entire situation. It's been a very long time since the last testimony, and I thought that I put all of that behind me.
You didn't think you'd be coming back here again?
I was really not I was not expecting to come back here at all.
So I'm putting to you the questions, and I'm trying to do it as calmly as I can. Let me ask it again, okay? Isn't it true, I don't know, you don't like the way that the beginning of the question, let me withdraw that. Your story, your claims about Joe and what took place at his house are evolving, they are growing, isn't that true?
I would not say that that's true.
Okay. You testified today that on February 15th that you drank alcohol. That's what your testimony was under oath just a few moments ago to the jury.
That you drank alcohol and you did drugs.
Right?
Correct.
You were asked this question at the preliminary examination, page 62, lines 18 to 19. Did you drink alcohol that night? Your answer was no, I did not. Correct?
Correct.
Again, your testimony today is different than it was at the preliminary examination when you testified under oath there. Right?
Correct.
Again, different in the way that it's evolving, worse for Joe, making Joe look worse and worse and worse. Isn't that what you're doing here?
I got to take a moment here. I got to take a moment to read Acapella's comment from our Ben Gate, right? Finding Ben. The next episode of Finding Ben will be out tomorrow. You know, so many people have been getting in touch with me, people that I don't know, through these email addresses and other things, and basically saying, I am a member of the resistance. You know, it's like this. You know, I cannot reveal the truth right now, but I will in time. Don't share this with anybody. This is the resistance. The Ben resistance. Yeah, and they well, I probably shouldn't say. I'll come back to it. Oh, hang on. That's what I was going to do. I was going to read Acapella's comment. Acapella says, what is this in reply to? Acapella says, the other Ben Adelson is the grandson of Garvey Adelson, Harvey's twin brother. Ben and Ben are identical second cousins, and they get up to all sorts of mischief, pretending to be each other, dating each other's girlfriends, fooling their friends and family, etc. They laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they basketball alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind. Oh, we've got to bring it all back to Ben. Episode 2 of Finding Ben will be happening tomorrow at some point.
I don't think that's my intent. I think my intent is to just tell the truth.
You told the jury a few moments ago in response to Ms. Hand's questions that she asked you about nitrous oxide. Remember those?
Yes.
She asked you about whether or not you asked you about cocaine being provided to you at Joe's house. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You said that Joe had provided you with cocaine. You said that was your testimony on direct examination. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That's not true, is it?
Pardon me?
Joe never gave you cocaine, and you didn't do cocaine at Joe's house. That's a lie, right?
Can you please rephrase the question?
The question was confusing to you?
No, can you just...
Yes. You testified today that Joe gave you cocaine and you used cocaine at Joe's house previously. That's what you testified to today. You've
Yes.
acknowledged that. I'm putting to you that that is not true. That is a lie. Correct?
That is not a lie. I did use cocaine at Joe's house.
Okay. On page 61, lines 15 through 17, at the preliminary examination where you testified closer in time, the question was put to you, did you partake of the nitrous oxide or the cocaine? Your answer was no. But I've heard and seen it at his house on occasions. Wasn't that your answer under oath then?
Well, then he's talking about the nitrous oxide. You don't hear cocaine unless it's, you know, the chopping of a credit card.
That may have been. I don't know. I
Is that
haven't...
both of those can't be true, Mr. Spencer.
Okay, so that was your answer at the preliminary exam, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what's the next question?
Both of those can't be true. What you testified to today to the jury and what you testified to under oath at the preliminary examination, right?
Yes.
So one of them is a lie.
I was lying about not using them.
You were
Because I
lying
felt
at the
guilty
preliminary
because-
examination.
I felt guilty because my dad was in the room.
At the preliminary exam.
I felt guilty because my dad was in the room, so I lied on the stand. I said I heard cocaine. I never used cocaine, but I do think one time I heard some cocaine.
Examination you were under, that's just so the jury understands that. You took an oath before you testified in the preliminary examination, is that correct?
I didn't want my dad to hear that I was using cocaine.
You took an oath to testify to the truth at the preliminary examination in district court, right?
Correct.
You raised your right hand just as you did today.
Correct.
You looked, there was a judge there named Judge Nancy Karniak, right?
Correct.
You looked her right in the eye and answered the question.
Do you think he's trying to look like the judge with that shirt? Like a psychological tactic? Yes, if I dress like the judge, people will think I'm in charge.
No. Isn't that true? And you're testifying now is that was a deliberate, intentional lie.
He said yes.
Isn't that perjury?
Well, he's
Yes,
not-
it is.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. You recognize that when you're under oath, you face the penalty of perjury, don't you?
Yes.
You understand deliberately and intentionally lying under oath for any reason is perjury. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
So you concede that you committed perjury from your own perspective. By your own words, you committed perjury at the preliminary examination.
Yes.
So that basically makes you shit in the eyes of the jury, right? Oh, well, fucking hell. He's committed perjury now, so how are we supposed to trust anything he says? Obviously, the oath doesn't matter to him, right? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes. Doesn't mean anything. Contract is burnt.
When the police entered the house that night, you were
I'm going to try and find out, Larissa, exactly what the crime is.
in possession of drugs, right?
Yes, I was.
And tell us again what drugs you were in possession of.
Xanax.
Xanax. How many Xanax pills were you in possession of?
2.
And you did not have a prescription for those pills, isn't that true?
That's true.
You understood at the time you were possessing that it was a crime to possess them, isn't that right?
Yes, I did understand that.
You understood that it was a serious crime,
Yes.
and you understood that it was a felony.
Yes, I did understand that.
So you knew that when the police entered into the house that night that you were committing a felony?
Yes.
You knew that you were committing multiple felonies if you count the number of pills you possessed. Isn't that true?
Objection, Judge. That calls for a legal conclusion.
I would draw
That's true.
I would draw it. It's fine. I would draw it. I'm asking questions very politely, Your Honor.
He is asking questions.
But you know that's not true.
Well, I don't know. I resent that because I'm not suggesting that I know that that's not true, and I don't like to suggest. You know me. I'm not suggesting anything.
You suggested to the jury that if you have two.
I'm asking a question. You know what? Then I'm asking a question, and if I'm wrong about that, then I'm wrong about that, and I certainly will.
Let's just see him go. He's going off at the judge here.
For those pills, isn't that true?
That's true.
You understood at the time you were possessing that it was a crime to possess them, isn't that right?
Yes, I did understand that.
You understood that it was a serious crime,
Yes.
and you understood that it was a felony.
Yes, I did understand that.
So you knew that when the police entered into the house that night that you were committing a felony.
Yes.
You knew that you were committing multiple felonies if you count the number of pills you possessed. Isn't that true?
Objection, Judge. That calls for a legal conclusion.
I would draw
That's
it.
true.
I would draw it. It's fine. I would draw it. I'm asking questions very politely, Your Honor.
He is asking questions.
But you know that's not true.
Well, I don't know. I resent that because I'm not suggesting that I know that that's not true, and I don't like to suggest. You know me. I'm not suggesting anything.
You suggested to the jury that if you have two.
I'm asking a question. You know what? Then I'm asking a question, and if I'm wrong about that, then I'm wrong about that, and I certainly will withdraw that.
All right.
So,
Next question.
so I will withdraw that. And when the police entered the house, you actually, as they entered, what did you do with the bag of pills or the couple of pills you had? Were they in a bag?
They were in a piece of like plastic wrap from cigarettes.
You remember that?
Cellophane.
You remember
Yes, it was in my pocket and I threw it.
you have a good memory of that?
Yeah, because there were cops and I had drugs on me. I threw them.
Okay.
It was like an instinct.
Your goal, you told the jury today.
It's a bad instinct, you know. You know what cops are looking for when you're running away from a drug house? They're looking specifically to watch you throw something away. And then you know what they do? They go to that spot and they check.
That your goal was to be deceptive with the police when you threw the...
The best thing you can do in that situation is take everything that you have on you, swallow it, because you can't be arrested for possession of something that you have already consumed. That's how the law is written.
The drugs away from you, right?
Yes, I wanted to make it look like they were not mine.
Now, at the preliminary examination, I asked you questions about that when you were under oath previously, and what was your goal in discarding the drugs. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And originally, you lied under oath at the
I
preliminary...
didn't understand the question correctly.
Let me just finish the question. You can answer it any way you want. If you want to...
That's right, Acapella. Always throw a decoy. That's why I never go anywhere without my pine cone.
Argue with me, that's up to you. I'm just going to ask the question, okay? Isn't it true that at the preliminary examination, when I first asked you, wasn't it your goal to deceive the police? You threw the drugs, that you lied. You denied that. It was your intention.
I don't remember. Maybe I did deny it, but I don't really see any other reason why I would throw them. Obviously, I was trying to deceive the police.
Well,
I think it was foolish of me to say no, and if I did, I may have not even realized that I was saying no.
Well, the question I asked you, wasn't this your question and answer at the preliminary examination, page 79, lines 7 through 11, was your goal in dropping them to the floor was to attempt to deceive the police, right? And your answer was, I don't know if it was to deceive the police. It was mostly just so that I wouldn't get in trouble because I wouldn't want to get in trouble.
So, yeah, I was trying to deceive the police. That's what I was
And then I questioned you further. And ultimately, after you originally denied that it was your goal to deceive the police, I ultimately questioned you.
I was not denying. I originally said I was trying to not get in trouble, as in I was trying to deceive the police into not thinking that they were mine. The whole time I was agreeing that, yes, I was trying to deceive the police by throwing them.
That's what you ultimately arrived at after you and I had a long exchange under oath. Isn't that true?
I stated that initially you just tried to twist it around to make it look like I was saying something else, and it took forever.
Your
for you to
goal in
let it
dropping
go.
them to the floor was to attempt to deceive the police, right? Today you answered that question very promptly to Ms. Hand. You said yes. At the preliminary examination, you said, I don't know if it was to deceive the police. That's how you began the answer.
And then I went on to say I was doing it so that I wouldn't get in trouble. That is deception. That's the definition of deception.
I concur. So
what are you getting at?
your initial reaction when your first thought when the police came into the house and you were in possession of drugs, your first thought to yourself was, I should be deceptive. Is that right?
Just asked and answered. I think he's admitted
No,
that several times.
Yeah,
Okay,
he answered it.
you tried to deceive the police at that time because you believed at that moment that was in your best interest. Isn't that right?
Correct.
All right. So at the time, did you think that that was okay?
So he's just like a standard idiot kid, really, isn't he? He's like throwing his stash, lying to police because he thought, no, it wasn't me. And then, well, I didn't want to admit I was doing cocaine because my dad was in the room. I was ashamed of my dad. I mean, there's nothing to it. Wait until they start going on about his music deal. You just got a record deal, didn't you? I'd love to know what that is. I'm going through the comments of the original video, trying to find out who these people are.
Acceptable? Appropriate?
Yes.
Okay. So deception is a tool that you personally use when you're confronted with a problem or with trouble?
I don't like to ever have to deceive anybody, but in that situation, yes, that's like you said, a potential felony, and in my mind, quite a bit of trouble would come out of that for having 2 little prescription pills in my pocket that someone gave to me. Yes, that is a tool that I use, deception. It's not something that I like to use, and I hate to admit that. It's not like I do it all the time. It was a survival tactic that I chose to do.
So deception is something you use to
Yes,
protect yourself?
I think it's something that everybody uses at least once in their life, whether they have to or want to. Yes.
Okay. That wasn't the only act of deception that you attempted to employ.
Couldn't Karen Less says, rewatch crew. We're live right now, Karen. You crazy?
With the police when they entered into the house, right? You'd use
What
another.
I don't know what you're speaking of.
You're
What
placed
instance?
in handcuffs, right?
Okay.
And as the police are doing their work, at various times they walk by you and you were asking them questions, pretending like you had no idea what was going on or what you did wrong, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The guy who provided the drugs is actually the one on trial. This guy's not on trial. He's probably got himself a sweet deal. He's already got that record deal. What do you think he's going to do after this? Go to his mother's house and weep. sitting on the stairs. Sitting on the stairs crying.
And as the police walked by, you were saying things like, why are you doing this? And I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, I was questioning why I was being detained, and what if I was being charged with any crimes, and if so, what I was being charged with.
And
that's what I was trying to figure out.
At the preliminary examination, you said, why are you doing this? I didn't do anything wrong. Please explain what was going on. Why am I in handcuffs? What did I do wrong? Isn't that what you were telling the police as they were walking by?
Did you say all that?
Yep, 81.
All at one time?
81 lines 2 through 7, 81, 21 to 25. I can go through it all. I can go through each line. It's fine with me. Let's start with line 81 to 21 through 25. You were saying to the police as they were walking by, said, look, I'm
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's. Where does he get all these drugs? The black market? Well, the drug market. I mean, is that the black market? You know, I'm sure maybe he makes some of the ketamine. I mean, that's just a horse tranquilizer. You get that from any vet.
Question on line 17. What else did you say to the officer besides as he's handcuffing you, you've discarded the drugs? They're not in your direct possession at that point. Did you say, why are you doing this? Wasn't your answer. I'd say there was like a 2.5 hour period between handcuffing me and when they questioned me in the bathroom, and throughout that 2.5 hour period, I may have asked twice, can somebody please explain to me what's going on? And that was it. You remember that?
Yes.
And then I went,
Rule 3 of the dipshit manual is act like you don't know what's going on.
further on page 82. I said, did you say to one of the officers that passed by, why am I in handcuffs? What did I do wrong?
Judge, I'm
Anything
gonna
like
object
that.
That's Mr. Rocking's question.
And then I'm going to ask the answer.
Well, Judge,
I believe-
he's making it sound like the witness is stating those words in that terms, and he's.
Were you asked this question?
He was asking
Yes.
the question.
You were asked this question. Did you say to one, I'm not sure what the objection was, but did you say to one of the officers that passed by, why am I in handcuffs? What did I do wrong? Anything like that? And you're
The black market online? Probably not. I mean, if he's dealing, then you know, if you go to the black market online, you're going to be paying. What do you call it? What do you call it? You know, what's the opposite of wholesale? What is it called? You know, you're going to be paying retail. You're going to be paying retail. Right? Where's his profit margin? There's not going to be any profit margin. If he wants a profit margin, he'll probably get it from someone else. Right?
answer was yes. Something along those lines. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And you knew at that time that you had done something wrong when you were, and were doing something wrong when you made those comments to the police, right?
Why does he always make that face? It's so annoying.
What did I do wrong? Anything like that? And your answer was yes. Something along those lines. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And you knew at that time that
It's
you
too
had
much.
done something wrong when you were, and were doing something wrong when you made those comments to the police, right?
Yes, I did.
You were pretending.
Yes.
And you were continuing with your attempt to deceive the police at that point with those comments that you had done nothing wrong, right?
Yes.
So that was another act of, besides discarding the pills, that was your second attempt to resort to deception to protect yourself. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
The lady lawyer is for the state observation station. This is just a witness. This is the state's witness that is being cross-examined by the defense attorney who's representing his client, the guy off shot on the left, who's the guy on trial. The lady lawyer is for the state.
At one point, Detective Doty, he took you or asked you to go into a bathroom to speak to him. Isn't that true?
Correct.
And at one point, early on in your discussion with him, you attempted to lie to Detective Doty. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And you did, in fact, lie. Looked him right in the eye and you told him a lie. Isn't that true?
Yes, it is.
What
true.
was the lie that you looked at Detective Doty in the eye and said? Do you remember?
I told him that the prescription pills were not mine.
Okay, and you knew when you were looking at Detective Doty, you knew that you were lying to him, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was, again, another method that you turned to yourself to attempt to try to get yourself out of trouble or to protect yourself. Deception, lying, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, would you agree with me that there were people at Joe's house for these events that were a mix of ages between your age and Mr. Shields?
Thank you, Larisha. What did Larisha say? Where is the thing? Oh, I lost it. Buy a coffee or whatever the defendant is having. Lol. yeah. Vyvanse for my ADHD. Yeah, and maybe I could stop getting up at 5 a.m. to do these streams.
Shields' age?
Something to chill me out.
Yes.
All right. So it wasn't just young people like yourself. True? True.
On occasions, there were people of Joe's age.
Okay.
And those were usually the
Agabella says, I think early 90s Steve Buscemi could have played the kid pretty well in the movie version. Time travel required. Yeah. What about people are saying online that Matthew Broderick should have played the attorney, but then we'd need like a Matthew Broderick from today, or maybe even from 10 years from now, when he's filled out a bit. But a Steve Buscemi from the early 90s, yeah. It'll be tough, but with AI today, and what it can be.
the nights that I would leave somewhat early just because I felt stranger around that crowd. I felt more comfortable there around a crowd my age. But yes, there were people of his age at his events also. Just when I was there, it was mostly people my age.
Now, when you went to go in and into the bathroom to go speak with Detective Doty, I want to be clear about this. Before going in there, the police are doing their work, right?
Detective Doty.
Correct.
Right. And there are police that are sitting nearby while you guys are handcuffed and in chairs, aren't there?
I'm sorry, can you?
Yeah, you're in handcuffs in a chair at one point, right?
Yes.
And there are other people who are handcuffed in chairs, yes?
Yes.
And at one point, the police, they bring you into this bathroom, correct?
Correct.
By yourself, right?
Yes.
And they tell you to be truthful, right?
Yes.
And they tell you it's in your best interest to talk to them, right?
Yes.
And he says it may end up helping you in some way. That's what Detective Doty says to you, correct?
Yes.
And said you were under the impression at that time that being truthful and giving him whatever information he needed would help you. You wanted to be as cooperative as possible at that point. Isn't that true?
Not until like halfway through the conversation. Originally, like I said yes, but I wasn't actually going to be truthful. I was still going to be deceptive.
Wait, originally when you went to go talk to Detective Doty, it was
because I thought that
your plan to lie?
I was planning to lie about the prescription pills if they brought it up.
So you're planning to lie, you said midway through your conversation with him, you were still had the thought of deception in your mind?
In the bathroom, yes.
So the first half of the conversation with him, you're thinking, I'm going to be deceptive. The second half of the conversation, you decide that you should be... Let me just finish the question, Mr. Spencer. I'm going to let you answer it any way you want. I just want to finish the question so the record bears it out. The first half of the conversation, are you saying that you had it in your mind to deceive him where you could, and in the second half of that conversation, you thought you would be truthful? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Detective Doty reminded me after I lied to him in the bathroom. He first brought me in there and I lied to him, and he reminded me again, be truthful. It'll really help you out if you can just tell me the truth and be honest with me, because he knew that I was lying. So then I changed my mind and I told him the truth.
Told him the truth. He said to you there, and again, this is not, I'm offering this as in terms of how this impacted your state of mind. He said to you that we're there for others, not for you, right?
Pardon me?
He said to you, we're there for others. We're not here for you.
What do you mean, we?
Detective Doty said to you, we really aren't here about you. We're here about other people. Isn't that what he said to you?
Yes.
Okay. And he said to you, this isn't about you, but we want to know more about Joe. And if you just come clean and tell us the truth and tell us what we want to know about Joe, then we'll make sure that it all works out for you, because you're a young adult. You have a future ahead of you. Isn't that what he said to you?
I'm going to object at this point to the question. He's stating it as if it's a quote, and in that sense, it's hearsay.
It's not proper. You didn't ask him about it first.
Okay, I'll be happy to. I'll ask him. No problem. Isn't it true that Detective Doty said that this isn't about you?
Correct.
And he said, we want to know more about Joe.
Something along those lines, yes.
And if you just come clean and tell us the truth and tell us what we want to know about Joe, then we'll make sure it all works out for you. Isn't that what he...
I don't know if they said that exactly.
I'm laying the foundation for impeachment, Your Honor.
What, Judge, Mr. Rockind, this is hearsay if he's asked.
She just knows she's losing. She's just like, oh man, we'll let it all hinge on this. We ended it with that nice question where we asked him if he still lives at home with his mom, and he said yes. I hope they're going to show redirect.
Exact quotes of what Detective Doty said. That's hearsay. It's not a court statement by Detective Doty. If he wants to ask him general questions about what Detective Doty said and how it affected him, but Mr. Rockind is looking as though he's reading a transcript of what Detective Doty said.
You know,
There's not a transcript of what he said, right?
there's a transcript of what the witness says,
Okay,
and that's how I'm impeaching him. It's not offered for the truth of the matter, so it's offered for how it impacted Mr. Spencer.
He hasn't denied it yet.
Yeah, you can only impeach him if he says, no, I wasn't.
Okay, there. That's his name, Mr. Spencer. I'm trying to find this case. It's all very hush, hush.
Asked that, or I didn't say.
No, but so I asked him the question, and then I said, "Is that what he said?" And so then he can.
But you're reading from the
Well, however, I'm making sure I'm being literal as opposed to just guessing. What I'm reading, I have my notes and I have this. I can read from either one.
Okay, well, you can't ask him about what he said at the preliminary examination unless you're impeaching him. You're not impeaching him.
I'm not yet, because he hasn't denied it. So I'm literally trying to put to him the questions.
Okay,
Get it?
what's his question?
Okay. Detective Doty said to you.
Did Detective Doty?
Well, no, but this is cross. So I can ask a leading question, can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Is it?
That's my objection.
Did Detective Doty? I want that to be the new alert for the coffee sound when people send a coffee.
He hasn't denied it, so I'm literally trying to put to him the questions.
Okay,
Get it?
what's his question?
Okay. Detective Doty said to you.
Did Detective Doty?
Well, no, but this is cross.
Did Detective
So
Doty what? Doesn't it sound like the beginning of a riddle? Did Detective Doty do what would he do? What did Detective Doty did?
Can I ask a leading question, can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it? That's my objection. He's stating what Detective Doty said although Mr. Rockind has no idea what Detective Doty said because Mr. Rockind wasn't there. And he stated
It's a Zen puzzle. What was it? What Detective Doty didn't do.
what Detective Doty said, although Mr. Rockind has no idea what Detective Doty said because Mr. Rockind wasn't there. And he's stating it as if it's a quote of what Detective Doty said and then asking him.
Mr. Rockind has no idea what Detective Doty said or when he would be wed. And you could do so much with it if you had time and a brain.
If that's true.
No.
That's not asking for the effect on the listener. That's asking him to validate or invalidate an out-of-court statement that was allegedly made that there...
It's not what I'm doing, Your Honor.
It's exactly what he's doing.
I'm asking, we have previous statements from the witness. I am asking the witness specific questions. He can, if he agrees, there's no impeachment. If he denies it, then I impeach him with the preliminary examination transcript.
Okay.
It's so that's all I'm doing. So this is his testimony, and that's why I'm asking him these questions. So can I continue with my?
Well, let me hear the question.
Okay. Detective Doty, isn't it true that Detective Doty said to you, we want to know more about Joe? And if you just come clean and tell us the truth and tell us what we want to know about Joe, then we'll make sure it all works out for you. Isn't that what he said to you?
Something along those lines, yes.
Okay.
I don't know if that's exactly what it was. I don't memorize conversations, but yeah, something along those lines.
Okay. And he said that to you, he said, because you're a young adult, right? You have a future ahead of you. Isn't that what he said to you?
I don't remember him ever mentioning my age.
Isn't that what you testified to at the preliminary examination when I asked you these very same questions?
I don't know, maybe I did, but I probably remembered it more back then.
Okay, so your
It's been a year.
So your testimony at the preliminary examination, and it's on page 88, he did ask you about it. He said, then we'll make sure it all works out for you because you're a young adult, you have a future ahead of you. Is that true? Is that what he said?
Okay, I might have found... What is this? This could be interesting. Let's have a look at this. Or is there going to be no sound? Is that him? Defendants learn new info about former Oakland professor found guilty of running drug house. Joseph Scheel, accused of giving away free alcohol and drugs. Oakland Township, Michigan. The local 4 defenders have learned detailed information about what may have happened in the Oakland Township home of former college professor who was found guilty of running drug house. It's like fun house, but with drugs. Prosecutors said the former Oakland University professor owned a party house furnished with drugs, alcohol, guns, and teenagers. The parents of the teenagers said they had no idea what was going on. During a 2.5-day trial, witnesses came forward to explain why they would go to the home of Professor Joseph Scheel to drink alcohol and do drugs, said Jacob Spencer. That's this guy, this witness, who said he partied at Scheel's home. You were 19 at the time, right? Spencer was asked. Yes. Who was providing the alcohol you were drinking? Joe. What type of drugs? Ketamine, cocaine, pot. The defense attorney accused Spencer of being high on the stand. He said he was just nervous. Yeah, nervous because you're so high in court. The judge is right there. You would be nervous. I don't want to remember the things that happened at Joe's house, Spencer said. I have been trying to forget them for a year. Another witness, Ashley J., testified about the drug activity inside Shields' home. Who provided them? Joe. Did you ever have to pay for them? No. Was there sex going on at these parties? Yes. Was it out in the open? Yes, sometimes, Jay said. Did you have sex in that house? Yes. On more than one occasion? More than one occasion. Was the defendant present or in eyesight of you having sex? Yes, sometimes. Jay told the court there were cameras in the home. She said they were in almost every room. So Jay is a girl. Oakland County Sheriff's deputies said they found a firearm and plenty of drugs while raiding Shields' home. Inside of these 5-gallon buckets of nitrous oxide canisters, otherwise known on the street as whippets. Well, like the Devo song. In closing arguments, the prosecution presented its theory on why the professor opened up his home for young people. The motive for the defendant providing free drugs is exactly that. No chicks, no expletive, the prosecutor said. Can't come over unless you bring girls. Sex out in the open. What do you think the expletive was? No chicks, no pussy. What would it be? No chicks, no dicks. I don't know. Could be anything. No chicks, no... Would the prosecutor have really said that? No chicks, no pussy. Depends on the jury, I guess. If it were a jury of pimps, then that might get through to them the most. Has there ever been a jury of pimps? Has there ever been a jury of pimps? Imagine the jury selection process. I only want pimps. He'd have probably got off. No chicks, no pussy. Shields' attorney, Neil Rockind, closed by telling the jury to question the reliability of the witnesses. I can imagine, good souls that you are, saying to yourself, I don't like what he did. I don't like what I heard. I don't like some of the things that were implied or suggested. I don't like sex talk. I guess it's not a jury of pimps. I don't like any of that, Rockind said. I just have to hope that you can put those things aside and judge the facts as they are. In the end, the jury found Shield guilty of drug possession, maintaining a drug house, and a firearms violation. Shield is scheduled. What was the other one? What did Detective Doty do? I don't know why I find that so funny. Shield is scheduled to be sentenced in March, and after he serves time behind bars, he will be deported back to Canada. Oh, Canada. I knew it. Did anyone else guess that? Totally Canada. Again, Canada. Where he is a citizen. While we appreciate you offering us the opportunity to comment for your story on the case against our former professor, there is nothing new to add. Oakland University spokesperson Brian Beerley said, the case has reached its conclusion. Wow. That's a way to finalize it, isn't it? We don't know anything. Good. We have information, see?
If that's what I said before, then yeah. Honestly, right now, I don't even remember it. It's been so long.
So in your mind, you knew that at that time they were interested in Joe, right?
Yes, that's the reason why they went. That's why they invaded his house.
Okay.
They were after him. I don't think they were after me.
So you were willing to lie about yourself originally with Detective Doty.
Yeah, no contention at all, Harley, on my part. Judy just made a video about me, I think in error. I think she'd been sent something by someone else, a mystery source. Kind of guided through that rather than watching the video. So no, we just made a short comment. I mean, no hard feelings from me whatsoever. I mean, I don't know if it was the real loophole lawyer, but he said, "Oh, you can come on to the show," but that might have been an imposter. So I don't know. I'd be happy to come on the show.
But then you were told that it was about Joe, and so you knew that you had a clean slate. You could come clean and tell him whatever the truth was, right?
Yeah.
So if your testimony to the jury is true and what happened earlier really did happen, it was ketamine being delivered to you on the 15th and you using it with Joe, all you had to do was repeat that to the police at that time, right?
Correct.
Just say, Joe gave me ketamine. Joe used ketamine with us. Joe delivered ketamine to us. Yet
they didn't ask me about that. They only asked me what drugs I had seen at the house. They didn't ask me.
You're telling the jury that just a few moments ago upstairs, Joe had given you ketamine and you had used ketamine and he delivered ketamine.
No, he's telling you what the police
I'm
said.
telling you.
I understand. And they told you they're there about Joe and not about, and you didn't tell Detective Doty that night that Joe gave you ketamine. True? That night. Would you like me to rephrase it?
I don't believe they asked me whether or not Joe gave me ketamine. I think they were just asking what types of drugs. And they didn't ask me specific questions. Doty, to my knowledge, from what I remember, he said,
Detective Doty, son.
Tell me what you know about Joe. So I just told them what I knew.
The judge is like always in this position. What is that? Just fascinated by this kid. Is he on drugs?
Stop there. So you knew, tell me what you know about Joe. If you're
I think he's definitely on drugs.
telling the truth about what occurred earlier that night, that was something that you knew, that Joe had just delivered ketamine to you.
I'm sorry, I did not even understand that question. It was really long and...
My question?
Yeah.
Okay. If what you testified to is, if what you say occurred earlier that night is actually true, if it actually happened, it would be a very simple response to Detective Doty's question. Tell us what you know about Joe. It just happened. It was the freshest thing in your mind.
It's just a compound question.
Well, I withdraw it. Wasn't that the freshest thing in your mind about what had taken place at Joe's house?
I just saw Michelle. Welcome back, Michelle. Good to see you. What are you... Michelle woke up in the middle of the night.
That he just given you ketamine that night?
No, the freshest thing in my mind was a bunch of cops in ski masks with guns breaking the door down and me sitting in handcuffs for like multiple hours. That was what was fresh on my mind.
Is that the reason you're...
Oh, is that why he's been blocking out all this time? There were cops with ski masks and guns and being handcuffed for hours. Well, you know, you're in a drug house. It's been known to happen.
Guns breaking the door down and me sitting in handcuffs for like multiple hours. That was what was fresh on my mind.
Is that the reason you're telling the jury why you didn't tell Detective Doty that Joe had delivered ketamine to you that night, or Joe had possessed ketamine
I
that
don't
night?
know what you're trying to ask right now.
What's about, yes?
Yeah, you're saying that the reason is that you had, is it because of the stress of the moment that you didn't tell Detective Doty the most recent drug event that you claim occurred at the house was the delivery of ketamine to you? The stress of the moment, is that what you want the jury to believe?
Oh my God, look at that one.
He's asking,
I'm saying
Fucking hell, how long does that go on for? Let's time it.
Drug event that you claim occurred at the house was the delivery of ketamine to you? The stress of the moment, is that what you want the jury to believe?
This is.
he's asking,
I'm saying I already told you.
11 seconds.
They asked me, what do you know about Joe? And I listed off the different drugs.
That was an 11 seconds. Incredible, wasn't it? One more time.
Jury to believe?
Let's do it in slow motion. Hang on. Put it on half speed.
The house was the delivery of ketamine to you? The stress of the moment, is that what you want the jury to believe?
he's asking,
I'm saying I already told you. They asked me, what do you know about Joe? And I listed off the different drugs that I had seen at his house. I told them what goes on at his house. And
What do you know about Joe? In response to that question, you didn't say to Detective Doty. In response to the question, what do you know about Joe? Tell us what you know
Danny Doty. What did Detective Danny Doty do for, we need more D words.
about Joe.
I
Tell
don't
him-
remember exactly how the conversation went. Like I said earlier, I don't remember conversations.
Mr.
I didn't remember
Spencer?
every little thing that was said, every little detail. A lot happened that night.
Do you agree with me that in that bathroom, in response to those questions, you didn't tell Detective Doty that Joe...
I don't remember conversations is a great thing to say to any woman, really, isn't it? I think it should just be a go-to. I don't remember conversations. It works with anything.
Joe gave you ketamine that night? Yes or no? It's a simple yes or no
I
question.
didn't tell Detective Doty.
And you didn't tell Detective Doty that night that Joe invited you to his bedroom to use ketamine? Or that Joe had used ketamine
I
with
believe
you?
I did not say that night.
And you didn't tell that to Detective Doty at that time because that was the truth. That was the truth, right? He didn't give you ketamine. He didn't deliver ketamine to you that night, right?
Well, I don't believe they asked specifics on whether or not he had given me ketamine. They were asking me to say what I know about Joe. So I explained that I had seen multiple different drugs there on different occasions. And that's what I explained. And they didn't go into like any specifics. All they said, all Doty told me was, we'll be talking to you soon. And then they put me back out there in the handcuffs.
Okay.
They weren't talking to me for that long.
Let me put the question to you one more time. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to.
I think I just explained anything that you're going to ask
Okay.
me right now, seriously,
Yes.
with that last answer.
Sorry?
he answered it.
Okay. So you used marijuana that night by your own admission, right?
Correct.
You used ketamine, you claim, that night, right?
By my own admission, I'm sorry, by my own admission, do you mean, like, did I provide it for myself?
Well, you used marijuana, is all I said. You're
yes,
claiming,
yes,
and you're saying, by your own admission, you're saying you used ketamine that night.
yes.
And within a few hours of using marijuana and ketamine, you drove yourself home?
No, I did not, because there were several hours after doing the ketamine that I had time to not be high anymore, and Joe
Come down. Come down.
also wouldn't let people leave if they were on drugs or drinking. I had more than enough time to come down from the ketamine high, and I had been smoking marijuana, and I was planning on staying until the morning until I was completely sober to drive home. And then the cops broke in, and then I was sitting in handcuffs for a solid 3+ hours while they were tearing the place apart. I had more than enough time to sober up.
So you're saying you knew
And
you were
yes,
sober?
I did drive myself home after it was all said and done, and I could leave. Yes, I did drive myself home, but I knew that I was not inebriated at that time because it had been several hours since I had consumed drugs by that time.
Mr. Spencer, you seem to have your memory about that and your...
Yeah, because I wasn't on drugs anymore.
Let me just finish
That's
it.
why I remember it clearly.
You remember you weren't on drugs anymore that night? That's why you
That
remember
morning,
it clearly?
when I was
That morning.
when I was sober enough to drive home, I was not on drugs.
I wasn't on drugs that morning. You were sober on drugs that night? That morning? Doesn't look better.
Drugs anymore, so I started to remember by that time.
Mr. Spencer, you seem to have your memory about that and your...
Yeah, because
your
I wasn't
assert-
on drugs anymore.
Let me just finish
That's
it.
why I remember it clearly.
See, he just doesn't let anything go to waste, this attorney. And I love it because so much of it is, it's responding to the witness. So it's thinking on his feet. Unless he's that good at leading the witness down to make him say the thing that he can respond to trap him, like getting him to say, yeah, I wasn't high in the morning, that morning. In the morning.
You remember you weren't on drugs anymore that night? That's why you
That
remember it
morning,
clearly? That morning.
when I was sober enough to drive home, I was not on drugs anymore. So I started to remember things more clearly as
I stayed up all night on drugs and then thought I was sober. Yeah, that always works.
it turned into the morning, as the sun came up.
So you made the self-assessment that you were okay to drive home because you believe you were no longer intoxicated or inebriated or whatever you referred to it as.
Did you not hear me, attorney? The sun had come up, so I came down.
Yes.
That's how it works.
So your memory of what had taken place got better at that point, you said?
My recollection of what was happening around me was much stronger as time progressed on. I started to remember what was going on at that specific moment. I didn't magically get powers to remember things from the past. When I was on drugs in the past, it was harder to remember those things. A lot of those memories
When I was on drugs in the past, I did get a memory from the future. But that didn't happen this time.
of things that happened at his house blended together also, because I was so messed up sometimes that I was there. That's why I went there, like I said.
And when you
Just
agreed to
messed up.
testify at the preliminary examination, it was your belief that if you cooperated and testified that you weren't going to be charged in the case. Isn't that true?
Yes, that's true.
And despite whatever it is that you did, you believed at that time that you'll end up with no criminal prosecution and no criminal record. Isn't that true?
Oh,
That's what I was told.
that's off the table now. You did terribly on the stand. Your deal was contingent on your performance. No deal. You share a cell with Joe.
And who told you that?
That
Ms. Hand. Seated to my right and to your left. And despite whatever it is that you did, you'll end up with no criminal prosecution and no criminal record. That's what you're testifying to. That's what you just testified
granted
to.
use immunity, I believe the term is.
And you just testified a moment ago that you were told that you'd end up with no criminal prosecution and no criminal record. Right?
Maybe. I don't think so anymore.
No prosecution for the possession of prescription pills.
So that's more than use immunity. Use immunity means, doesn't it, as far as you know, that you just get to, your words can't be used against you. But you're telling us that you actually have an understanding that you're not going to be prosecuted at all for your felonies. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Isn't that in part why you're in here saying the things you are about Joe, so that you avoid felony prosecution and felony conviction yourself?
I love this space. I love it when he gives space to the jury. He just comes away from the podium. He's almost standing with the jury when he does that.
You actually have an understanding that you're not going to be prosecuted at all for your felonies. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Isn't that in part why you're in here saying the things you are about Joe, so that you avoid felony prosecution and felony conviction yourself?
Correct.
So, you're a young person. You're 20 years old, you said? Yes?
Yes.
You want to have a career in the future, right?
Yes.
You have a lot to lose. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And your participation or involvement in some kind of crime could interfere with that. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And so, you understood that based upon what you were being told, that if you talked about Joe, you'd be able to avoid being in trouble, right?
Yes.
1 year ago, well, so not 1 year ago, this was back in February 15th of 2017 is when this search of Joe's house took place, correct?
Correct.
And today is January 18th or 19th. 19th, Your Honor? Thank you. In that time, you have not been charged, have you?
No, I have not.
And there are things that you did go down and talk to the police on March 1st of last year, correct?
I'm not sure the exact day, but yeah, it was around that time.
You got a record deal the day before that, didn't you?
Pardon me?
Didn't you get a record deal? Did you get a...
That makes it sound like he's a singer.
No. Well, aren't you a performer, a DJ?
What does this have to do with...
We'll let the jury sort that out.
Are you talking about this case?
Yeah.
What, the prosecution got him a record deal? What is this? I gotta go back.
Search of Joe's house took place, correct?
Correct.
And today is January 18th or 19th. 19th, Your Honor? Thank you.
The judge doesn't know either. I love this courtroom. What is it? Oakland County? Is that what it was?
In that time, you have not been charged, have you?
No, I have not.
And there are things that you did go down and talk to the police on March 1st of last
Oakland Township, okay.
year, correct?
I'm not sure the exact day, but yeah, it was around that time.
You got a record deal the day before that, didn't you?
Pardon me?
Didn't you get a record deal? Did you get a...
That makes it sound like he's a singer.
No. Well, aren't you a performer, a DJ?
What does this have to do with...
We'll let the jury sort that out.
Are you talking about this case?
Yes, I am.
I
Yes,
don't
February
think this
28th of
I don't want to talk about
2017, the day before you
My dad is right there.
went down to the police department to talk about Joe. Didn't you get a record deal?
Oh, you do mean like singing.
I think a DJ.
Oh, I thought you meant, okay, all right.
Didn't you get a record deal? Didn't you get a contract by a company that signed you? Didn't you, something you were proud of?
The judge thought he meant like record deal as in your criminal record. We're going to wipe your record clean. It's your record deal. The judge's like, oh, that makes it sound like he's a singer.
This case?
Yes, I am.
I
Yes,
don't
February
think this
28th of 2017, the day before you went down to the police department to talk about Joe. Didn't you get a record deal?
Oh, you do mean like singing.
I think a DJ.
Oh, I think you meant, okay, all right.
Didn't you get a record deal? Didn't you get a contract by a company that signed you? Didn't you, something you were proud of?
I'm confused as to why you're asking me this and
Well,
why you're
let's-
asking me to disclose personal information.
He's trying to ask you if you have a lot to lose.
So on February 28th, before you went, you talked to the police, you got a record deal. You got a professional
Yeah,
music contract. That was something you coveted, that you were proud of.
yeah,
You understood that a criminal case and a criminal prosecution could interfere with that, didn't you?
yes.
So the very next day, March 1st, that's when you went down and you talked to the police at the police station about Joe, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, other than having to testify, you really haven't suffered any consequences for your actions, have you?
Several hours of stress and pain and phone calls and having to show up and questions and strenuous hours.
And it just cuts off there. Joe Shield, where is he now? Let's just end with this nice little chunk from our good friend Alan. Big Al. Did that save? Joseph Shield, a former Oakland University business professor, was sentenced to prison on drug and firearms charges in March 2018 and faced deportation to Canada following his sentence. Information on his exact whereabouts after serving his sentence is not publicly detailed. So I guess he went back to Canada. He's their problem now. He can set up his drug house in Montreal. As a Canadian citizen, the terms of his sentencing, including deportation to Canada, once his prison, Allegations. There were allegations that Shield hosted parties and provided drugs to students, some of whom were of legal drinking age. His defense attorney argued that charges were over the top. Maybe. It's only Michigan. And that there were reasonable doubt in the case. Okay. So many laws. Well, that was a short one tonight, guys. Just a short little Tuesday night. Maybe do some more short ones later today. Got to do part 3 or part 2 of Finding Ben, the mystery Ben. How many Bens can there be? How many Detective Doties does Ben need to... There's something going on this year. There's something going on with this Ben thing, right? Yeah, we've received a lot of information about True Ben. So, you know, it really does seem... It's true. It's true that there are 2 Ben Adelsons that don't know each other, that live right there. I mean, we've got to do a list of the amazing synchronicities with that situation. I still can't believe it. I keep trying to make a list, but I know it's going to be too long. It's going to freak me out more. Holy Naomi, how you doing? He better lay off the drugs. Brain already affected. Yeah, I think it was before the drugs. Maybe he should increase the dosage or change to different ones. The case of 2 Bens. Benjamin Button. Big Ben. Benny Hahn. Benny Hanna. Ben Affleck, Ben Stiller, Ben Kingsley. How many are there? I mean, are there any more? Big Ben, Benihana, Ben Affleck, Ben Kingsley, Ben Stiller, Benjamin Franklin, who coincidentally looked like Donna during her trial. Oh, let's just bring up a picture of Ben Franklin. We'll close with that. Where is he? Come on, Ben. We've seen the video, Ben. Where is Ben? Finding Ben, you see? It's all about finding Ben. But I can confirm this. I will confirm one thing. It is true that Lincoln is playing sports. I won't say which one. And on the back of his sport wear, it says the name Estrada. And I'll also tell you this. It is confirmed that Wendy, having a birthday on the 22nd of April, or April 22nd, that George Estrada's birthday is the April 23rd. How weird is that? Look at that. Isn't that great? I think a Georgia Kaufman clip show will be coming up with my kindest of salutations. What about these guys? What about these guys? Huh? Finding Ben. Where is Ben? He's right there. He's one of them. Which one? It's hard to tell which one's the younger one. I was thinking the dark hair would be younger, but maybe not. Could be the other one. What do you think? Spider-Man pajamas. Look, Travis Alexander. Should we do a bit of that? Should we do a Travis Alexander, or shall we do another episode? Give me 40 minutes and we'll do a Travis Alexander episode. Maybe. It should be its own episode, really. We shouldn't mix. It's not what the pros do. Well, thanks for coming, and thanks for chatting and being here. And we'll see you real soon with a Travis Alexander special. I want to look at the video of him doing the multi-level marketing thing in that horrific suit. Oh. Detective Doty. I know, we may never see him again, Acapella. Is that how you spell it? I was thinking it was just D-O-D-I. Let's see if we can find him. Oakland Township. Oakland Township. Michigan. No results. We'll try DODI. All right, Harley, good, you know. No animosity from me to Judy at all. It's been a really interesting experience, actually, to look at you know, what happens in this kind of exchange. I know some followers of Metrix have been outspoken about Judy but you know, I don't have control over that. I mean, you know, I'm yeah, you know, I'm not joining in with it. I'm easy. I'm good. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, and have a great night, everybody. Thanks for coming, and see you tomorrow or today.